is day 849 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. The donor has sponsored a week of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi for a schus for a shidduch. May the shidduch be matzliach and may it be a dova noah miskabel. Today we are doing Siman Tavkuf Memhei, with Aleph to Yud Zayin. Laws of writing on Yont on Cholamoid. Yurav, each with the Sefta. The Mutal Chashkish Benoisa, but says Sefta, you're allowed to reckon your commercial reckonings, it's Yosef, and your expenditures, and write them. Because the Ram writes interesting reason. He says when writing these things, a person does not concern to write with in a clearly legible and professional way. It's like amateur. But Rashi, because of the time, Rashi writes because it's going to cause a loss. Now you're going to forget your man, your mono, you'll lose your money. Lose your money. There's the two reasons which are given. Obviously promoted for the purpose of Yontif itself. It's not for the purpose of Yontif. Also, my Sehediot is also even amateur work is prohibited. Like previously, Rashi Mutar Gam Kshalol Tzarech Moed, according to Rashi, even it's not for the purpose of Yontif. Kedin Dover Ave, because it is a thing where loss is involved. In our handwriting, which is not Ksava Shuris, not like the Sefer Torah, Yesh Yismach L'Okel Kedas Rashi, one can rely on the Rashi's leniency. And Vade Ain't a Dover Ave, but if it's certainly not something where there's going to be a loss, it tells a loss, also it's forbidden, if it's not for the purpose of Yontif. Also, if your calculations are already written, you want to arrange them, also that's forbidden. It's not going to something where the loss is entailed, nor is it necessary for the Yontif. But also, when you arrange your calculations, you usually use a nicer writing. So it comes like professional. And even though we hold that any of our handwriting is Maisa Hedyo, because not Ksava Shuris, nevertheless, we're Sidur, no ever Noki, to make it nice and clean. Kadesh will see them not only, but they Hamischar like the managers do in their stores, the commercial houses, Vared lo Rachakum Masim, when it's not far from being professional. Because Rabbeinu Ramah B'Sib Dal, Ramah writes that the documents you write when people borrow money on basic collateral are mutzah write on Chamoed. There's certainly a thing where the loss can be involved. If you're not going to write for as a memorandum how much you loaned, to whom you loaned, the gam ain't and it's also not professionally done. Also, it's possible to call for the needs of Yontif. The ulai halova hilva lava Yontif made the borrower's borrowing for the purpose of Yontif. In brackets, he says, who says that when you write down collateral agreements, you have to make a little bit of shinoi. See, the Taz writes this is the reason. It's like for the purpose of Yontif. Pshita, Sabi, Shein, Sor, Shein doesn't require Shein, much because of Taz Vasmo, like Taz himself wrote, Ayin Sham Beduk. You base. Shani my Mishnah. We learned the Mishnah. The Igros Rishus, optional letters. People barely don't write those things anymore. As younger, we did it. Now, the Igros Rishus, email Pasha says no prohibition involved. It's not really writing. But so those is talking about specifically handwriting. Even typewriting might be different because typewriting, in the old days, you were actually making marks with ink on paper, but not now. The allowed to write optional letters on Cholamoid. Rashi, the Rishus Shulton. So what he interprets Rishus is not what we would say in this Pashut Pshat, but it means Rishus means like a government. Maltis Rishus, like it says in Pirkei, don't make yourself known to the government. And this would be commands, directives by the government. And this would be permitted on Cholamoid. Avo Yerushalmi, Yerushalmi says what we would perhaps see as more conventional, that it's extending greetings. Letters of peace, Israel, a friend, person to his friend. Rama says the same thing. Here's what Taisus. What's the Taisus? This goes for a Torah Shulchan Aruch. That's the Shulchan Aruch writes Steve Hay. The Mutzach Tov Yiger Shel Shalom be allowed to write a letter of inquiring as the person's peace. Shalom Shel Shabbat, which person says to his friend. I feel Dvar Pragmatio Shein Avuda, even if it's about merchandise, which is not going to be stay in law, because it's not a commercial letter. It's a letter which addresses or refers to some commercial activity. In other words, even if it's not going to be lost, you can still write about in a letter. It's called an optional letter. There's no a mitzvah to write them, no obligation to write them. It's optional. These letters are considered to be amateur. Not to write them with elaborate calligraphy. Visa coin is talking about the mikra tzorch haregel. But that's the case. It has to be tzorch haregel for the purpose of yontif. The loking amachai gam not so much kusam. It's not tzorch yontif. So then even in my sehediyot is also. But if it's a letter of inquiry concerning somebody else's health, then that could be considered called tzorch hamoed kadesh and makabel hamichtav. You're signing beyontif. Okay. If I write a letter to somebody, and he gets the Chol just Niger Shalom, even that person is not, has no special need. It's a regular letter. He feels good. Anigantiv. Chen Pragmati is a name, also by commercial activity. The person, if it's positive, the person sees letter will be have pleasure and enjoy the contents. This will only be a minute, but it will be received by the recipient during Chomoid. But if it received after the yontif is over, it would be no good. Chomoid also. Why is not a poskim this distinction? Also, people don't make this, are not meticulous. That should be something about yontif. Unless you say the gam like crazy be ish oineg b'zeh. B'toli v'avi tzorach moed. He gets pleasure by writing about his cheshbonos. B'tarchin. It's not clear about this. The Sharatzion writes that the name of the Ritva in terms of letters of peace. It's talking about where it's for in Yonah Yontif. Well, that's because it's Simchas HaRegel that a person should not be anxious about his friend. Some of them are for the purpose of the people who are sending it or the person who it's sent. However, in terms of commerce, which is not going to be lost if you leave it till after Yontif, so you should be machmir not to write about that. A letter, at least, I don't know if you can write it in a letter, but you shouldn't write a letter about it. Unless you write in a shinoi, where he says a ksab meshita, which is I think it's Rashi print, but it's either Rashi print or our script. I don't remember which one. And through a shinoi specifically, and even with that, you should diminish how much you write as much as possible, and also we're only going to make if you want mechaven your letter writing to do it all during Chol Hamoed. Okay. So the Arukh HaShulchan says it's more likely to say the B'ksiva Eshaim is a Toirach, writing which takes no effort. It's also done in private, like Pidu. They're not concerned she has that Sag Rega that she even need of the Yontif. The Gamzel at least get a place, but mention this either. Brackets it says here, because sometimes Rai writes the reasons do lie lame tachar moed I didn't mean let's shlach a michtav. Maybe after I'm not gonna find somebody but whom to send the letter. I am shown, but either sheesh b'chol makom beit dar kabor. Now that we have posters all over the place, lo shayach zeh not relevant, not finding somebody to take the letter. You give of Rabbeinu Ramah Kazar Sev Shalom. The Ramah writes as follows. Those who forbid even letters which inquire as to the health peace of the recipient. And the minhag is to be machmir to make a shinui, even in our handwriting. She ksivas b'shita, which is so here he says it's our script is called meshita. Akam l'shono, nevertheless we make a shinui. As he's fixing the Ramah. But he says people ask for Shei L'Shalom means also commerce which is not going to suffer It's not discussed on Chol Hamoed. The Ba'abuda, if it's going to be loss going to be involved, Pshita, then Tzarech Shinui. You obviously don't need a shin in that case. It says the bracket Zel Kamaras I'm going to Avram. So you're going to Chol Hamoed. Okay, Avram says differently than other people presumably. Vatamos in the reason those who forbid is Shchoshu Perish Rashi. It's a Perish Rashi. The only letter you're allowed to write is a letter which has to do with the government. Ushalmi, even according to Ushalmi, which permits optional letters. Yesh l'gam gein tuvo. We should stutter about this. Much kasam is kodem, like we wrote in the previous sif. What exactly is considered to be tzorach yontif or not? Or whether it's a torach and that's where makbid, etc. It's not clear the out or the heter. So the cover says we make a shini. Other malachos you make a shini still not mutter, but it's not for the purpose of yontif. If it's not also at least a davar aved. By writing, they make it because people are happy to write and get letters. It's not so much of a tircha as well. Umani shini, what's called the shini shekosvin. So the balachson to write on an angle on the paper. Even though the shiur, you might say shini is supposed to be and how you write, you hold the pen differently or something. No, since it's mutter to write, it's also we're writing in our handwriting. Now assuris, that's not shini and how it comes on the paper. So what? Therefore, saying which you're not allowed to write on the mitzvah din, it doesn't help you write it on an angle or a slant. The answer shini cloud, it's not considered sufficient shini for that purpose. Yes, some say the ksav shalom our writing when we could ksav cloud. It's not called write at all. We're busy chol hamoed. Then people write without a shini rely on that. But some people write the first line on an angle. That's not enough. That's just to write like a circle. Mishnah Berurah says somebody was machmir should be machmir for himself, and still he says so. He's more dramatic. He says we make a shini in the top line only, not like Arukh HaShulchan. But even our ksav we should be machmir not to write in a professional hand, not unless it's the tzara gadol. Okay, not sure exactly what it means, but I guess it means to be meticulous in our script, even though it's a script. You doubt. You can't write a Chol Hamoed, presumably outright. Kiddushin, Ashtar Kiddushin, Gitin, divorce, Shovarin, receipts, Daitake, wills, Matana, gifts, Prusbulin, and Prusbul. Igro Shum, assessments for feeding a widow, Vigros Mazon, some idea. V'shar chalitza, start to indicate a chalitza or a meal took place. V'shtar biruin and start to choose the dayanim in a court case. Gezeres based in decrees of courts. All these things are mutter to write. Kiddushin noshim, hashtar erusin. So we say, what is kiddushin noshim? It says you're allowed to do it. It's a star erusin. Afagav the tanoim. Afagav. Even though they also say you should get married during Chol Hamoed, which is what we're seeing. But we're see next siman, but to get engaged, you're allowed. It's because less somebody else come and swipe her from you. So therefore, you also have to write shtar kiddushin if you're mekadosh b'shtar. Or action makadosh b'keser, even if you did kiddushin with money or ring or whatever. Come tzrichim shitrei raya. You need to have documents of evidence that he was Mekadosh. Also, this includes documents of Psikta, which are the literal Tanoim. How much you're going to give to your daughter, how much I'm going to give to my son. He says, that's like our Tanoim. The Gam Zem Mutter Moed, the Soz Mutter, and the Moed Shlik, because that is what seals the deal. They don't want other people to usurp the Shidduch. The Gitin Perk Risham, the Gitin Risham Yasot Tzaru. How can you write again on Chol Hamoed? It's stairs or some class you want. The Taritz and the answers came with Shagam Garesh, ain't no Tzar. And say if Ray decided to get divorced, it's not Tzar. On the contrary, Tzar is sticking together. Avagam Zamuchar B'Moed, also it's compelled to do a Chol Hamoed. Kadei Shalo Yelech Marach Hakim. the person should not go at a distance. Should remain without a get. Receipts are all sorts of receipts. Only Branchov, whether somebody pay back a loan, or ksuva, so pay ksuva. If the person will not give a receipt, lo yitain b'zamos. That guy won't give the money. So therefore, it's a potential loss involved. Tesla, I think it's a gift given by a person who's dying. And a gift is a gift to a person who's healthy. And then you must write them in Chol Moed. The person who's dying, maybe he's going to die, and the gift will be canceled. About Prusbul Kadesh Amavi Yovenu. And Prus we have to write, so the loaner, the lender, will lend the money. The low Prus will lay it sell abos without a Prus doesn't want to lend the money. Havik Davar of it's therefore saying where there's a loss involved as well. Bigoshum was Bigoshum Sheshaman Nichse level Malva. They estimate and reckon the value of the property of the borrower and gave it to the lender. The Egos Mason, the documents of sustenance. Shekiba Lavazun's Basishto, a person accepts to sustain his wife's daughter. Oshimako Karka Mazana Yishavana, they sold land for the sustenance of the wife and the daughter. The Shitra you can write also in Chalmai. Shitra Chalutza, Medea, Menos, Lashtar, which test that a Chalitza took place or a meal took place, where she repudiated the marriage before she became an adult. Yodua Biabamos. What these things do is known in Yavamas. We'll have a discussion there. Shitra means each one chooses one dayan. Xeris Basin, the Kree Basin, Siske Basin, that's the laws of the psukim, the dinim issued by that basin. A lot of this stuff you can leave till after Yontif. We're afraid maybe the witnesses will die, a basis going to die. I'm going to Chutz Laaretz. The Rabbi serves like a dover of it to do a get it done now. The beginning of Chomai. Also, all these things are like needs of the masses. We're more lenient. Which says that it's possible. It's called Tzarech Moed, since they can only get this accomplished during the Moed. But it's best to write everything you can in script, except for get, which has to be in block letters, because the script and some make all together. Let's find a little letter where I read it. No, it's going something further. Okay, never mind. We'll come back to later. Varama does the time in the call Ram gives the sheet of that the other things not precise in writing. If I become my head, it's like an amateur work on your chum. I get sheet of documents also. I don't work for get where obviously people are very meticulous in how they write it. I'm telling you but we do it anyway, so women should not stay unmarried. Mine was that Shmut Garish Chalitz, from this we learn you're allowed to divorce or do Chalitza during Cholamoy. Test 9. You can't write the documents of loans on Cholamoy. Right after Yontif. But the lender does not believe the borrower. If anyone doesn't give the money below star without a document, below star chov without a document of sale. If you live it and the borrower needs the money, we'll try to be allowed to write it. We'll call him even if it's not sort of call him as Mishnah says. So the Sober is writing. So the Sofer is writing in order to make money. He can write. I feel ain't a little bit Yontif, even if the bar doesn't need the money for Yontif El Mischor, but only for commerce. But he's afraid after Yontif he won't get the loan. It's going to matter with the laws and Mutar is permitted. Is a widespread practice, especially when it's our handwriting. Which says amateur work. The Rama writes. The Mutzah Ksuva Moy allowed to make it right Ksuva on Chol Moy. It's also some forbid on Kal Shana. Like Shanos Erev Areg, obviously now to get married on Yontif. You either got married before Yontif, Ukshiyisa Achareo is going to marry after Yontif. Both of us so for a brief, but it won't be ascribed to the city at that point. The time David shows in the meaning for people forbidden is topic Shtar Chov. It's like a bill of a loan. Avokim Shkam Shtar Chov Nogu Heter Koshkim Su, but nowadays when we're Mako by a bill of a loan, we certainly should be Mako by a Ksuba. But so much Ksuba Shlubis Man Chupa. Nowadays people only write the Ksuba at the time of the Chupa, which is not going to be a Cholamoid. Everybody says today it's also to write Ksuba in anticipation of the Chasim which is going to take place after Yontif. After Sefes Ksuba, nearly the Mutter Cholamoid, but the additional one of Ksuba, like supporting the wife's daughters, that is you're allowed to write Cholamoid. The Tovas Isha, so for the benefit of the woman, the Shem Yach Zorba about at Achar Moed. Hey, until after the husband's gonna change his mind. So havik Ravavid, it's like a thing where there's a loss that you have to take care of this right away. That there should the Ksuba should be pinned down in the transaction, and that the Mishnah writes that those are matis because it's a davar aved, because it might come to disagreement about the terms, and therefore in our countries where we write or Ksubas, more or less equivalent, you're not allowed to write according to everybody. People says that it's the script you can make even in our day and